My hat's off to Carson-Newman because there was several times that they could have, folded their tents when we made that great comeback. Credit to our players. We had several opportunities that we could have folded our tents, but we kept fighting and they kept fighting. And, that's Division II football at its best. I think that was two class act football teams going at each other. It was a great game to be a part of. I'm just very fortunate that we were able to make that great play there at the end with EJ throwing the ball there to Greg. And, right before we went out, Greg and I were talking, and, I challenged him to make a play to make a difference in the game. And he said, I got it, I'll do it. And true to his word, he did. And kudos to him and to everybody on our football team. It was a great job.
Going into the fourth quarter, down 18, just kind of, how did you basically keep yourselves in it to make that comeback?
Well, there's a lot of fight in these guys, and you could tell on the sideline we weren't done. We still believed. Everybody kept talking about believing. We had a former player talk to us last week. Cam Short came in and talked about where are you going to be when that last bell rings, and meaning that where are you going to be when the season's over? How will you be remembered? And these guys don't want to be remembered that way. They want to continue to make a run, and they weren't going to quit. They were going to keep fighting, and it really wasn't a whole bunch I could say to them. It was just a matter of them finally starting to make some plays, make some stops on defense, and then continue to score offensively.
You guys get the ball back 46 seconds or whatever it was, just kind of, especially as the offensive play caller, what's going through your mind to get you guys down the field in such a short period of time?
Well, believe it or not, I was pretty relaxed and calm because I got a lot of confidence in our offense and the way that we were playing in the game and the way we were making plays. But we had 3 timeouts, so it wasn't a paranoid or a paramount deal that we had to make a lot of yards right off the bat, and it kind of opened up the field that we could throw to the sideline in the middle of the field because we did have the 3 timeouts. I think we only used 1 as it turned out, but again, it was guys making plays, great protection with our guys up front, great throws by EJ Hilliard, and great catches and smart plays, getting out of bounds when they had to, and knowing what the situation of the game was.
And Greg, just kind of what did you see on that last play? Obviously it was a short pass, and you cut it upfield and found the end zone.
Actually, I wasn't even expecting to get the ball because I had 3 safeties back there. But once I ran my route, the safety just opened up the middle of the field, and when I looked back, EJ threw me the ball. And as I was turning up, I didn't see nobody coming, but the outside safety, and I just turned up and just kept running.
Was there at any point where you guys got worried, with the fact that they just kept scoring and kept there for a little while, kept pulling ahead?
I don't think we was worried. We know that they was a good team, and that Coach Dean used to tell us who's gonna have to match them every time. So we tried to match them every time, but we didn't. But at the end, we started stopping them, and then our offense started getting momentum, and we started going more fast-paced tempo of our offense, which allowed them to just run around, and so we just took advantage of that.
Cedric, a couple weeks ago I asked a bunch of your teammates if there was anything on a football field you couldn't do after you ran through the West Alabama defender, and then today you decided to bust out something new.
I really don't know where that came from. I guess it's just the hype of the game, just watching our defense, just getting stops. And Coach Dean called the play at the right time, and credit to our offensive line once again. I just seen the safety, just me and the safety, and once I got 5 yards towards him, I just decided to just leap around and score. And that really just gave my offense momentum. Me personally, I love to just give my team that momentum. So.
What changed in the second half? Halftime you guys hadn't been able to run the ball very, very much, very well, and obviously that changed the second half.
Yeah, that definitely changed because me and Coach Dean, we were talking, and he telling me once again he gonna trust the ball in the run game, and when Coach Dean come at me like that, I feel like that's a challenge, and I try to do whatever in my power to watch our offense be successful on offense. And my O-line, I talked to my O-line before we took the field, and we all got on the same page, and they all just want to go out there and make big plays. So it's a challenge for the run game, and we hoping in next week we're gonna do the same thing.
And Malcolm, obviously, huge play right there before halftime to keep them from scoring, and may have been the play that made the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I just was trying to help my team out. I know Coach told us before we went out there, he was like, we got to make a stop. We got to stop them. They can't get in the end zone. And we got to do it. We got to bow our neck and do whatever we got to do. So when we come back out, our offense is getting the ball when we come back out. So we knew we had to make a stop in order to make a run in the second half. And that's what I did. And I helped my team out.
Obviously, I know you grew up playing in that style of offense. Just kind of how much more frustrating is it on the other side?
I mean, it really wasn't frustrating because we game planned for it, but they actually ran it better than we did when I was in high school. So, but I mean, it actually was a lot of fun seeing it from the other side, but it actually did get a little frustrating because we couldn't stop them at times, and when we really needed to stop them. But when we had to stop them, we did. So, yeah, I mean, it was really fun.
Coach, just kind of what was your thoughts when you saw Malcolm with that play right there before half?
Well, I knew that was going to end up being a huge play in the game, because they had another down and they could have kicked a field goal. So we had to get a turnover at that point. I thought it was a really good call on their part to try and throw the ball because they still had some time to run and then possibly kick a field goal. But what a great play! I mean, he climbed the ladder and went up over the top of their receiver and snatched that thing down. I wish he was smart enough to land in the end zone so we don't have to run that sneak. But we'll take it any way we can. And I'll say this about Cedric. I immediately took him out of the spring game and I said, don't you ever do that again. Thank you for not listening to me. That may have been one of the greatest runs I've ever seen and most timely runs I've ever seen. These three guys right here made probably the biggest plays in the game with the interception, the hurdle run, and then obviously the touchdown at the end of the game. What a great job. And great hard-working kids, just like everybody in our football team.
Any more questions?
Yeah, Coach, you guys and Carson-Newman seem to always meet up in the playoffs and have kind of games like this. And obviously with Coach Sparks, that's probably not going to happen too many more times that people are going to get to face off. Talk about lining your team up against his.
Well, he's a legend, not only in Division II, but in the coaching world. I've had an opportunity to get to know him since I've become a head coach, more so now. Just from the time that we have faced so much in the playoffs, but seeing him at the convention, and he's a class act. He's a great football coach. His longevity is something that's probably going to be unmatched across any level of football. And it's amazing what he can get his players to do, and it's amazing how he recruits. And I have so much respect for him. I have so much respect for their staff and for their football team and what they do and what they represent each and every year. Every year, Carson-Newman is in position to go to the playoffs, and more times than not, they're in the playoffs. I just wish they were in another region. It's hard facing those guys. That's a very tough first-round matchup because we don't see that split back here. And today they did an outstanding job of scheming us. And I thought their offensive staff put together a tremendous game plan and threw the ball a little bit more than we were expecting to do. And I think their quarterback probably played as good as he could play. And everybody around him kind of lifted up to that. And again, I'll say, it was two good football teams going at each other. And it was a fun one to be a part of. I heard for Coach Sparks because I know that there was so much emotion going back and forth in the last 4 minutes of that game, and it hurts to lose that way. I've been on the other end. The things that he said to me after the game are unmatched as far as what anybody else would ever say. I'm blessed to know Coach Sparks.